Okay, let's jump to some Week 9 injuries that we're tracking. The big one, of course, and we'll talk about it more, is Lamar Jackson dealing with the back and the knee as well. Jaden Daniels with his ribs, expectation is still he's going to play. Jordan Love dealing with that groin injury. That line has moved 2 points towards the Packers, so some optimism that he may play. Josh Jacobs with the ankle. Tony Pollard dealing with a foot. Kareem Hunt with his quad. DK Metcalf, still some uncertainty there that he may miss a second game with his knee. Tyreek Hill with a foot injury. And then T. Higgins, some uncertainty there around his quad. And then David Njoku, Matthews, dealing with an ankle injury. But let's start off with Lamar Jackson, because this is the big one. And first of all, let's hear from John Harbaugh. And this was on Wednesday after Lamar Jackson had missed his first practice of the week.
Yeah, rest day. You know, he's been playing great, and we got a lot of football in front of us here. You know, we've got quick game, another big game coming up, so that was warranted today.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I feel like, Lawrence, once a year at least, there's like something weird with Lamar.
Yeah. He be getting sick.
Yeah,
but this is more than like back and knee is a little more than getting sick, but it is.
Just always feels like there's always something with Lamar.
Yeah. Now, he avoided it last year. Last year he avoided it, but every other year outside of really his 2 MVP seasons, there's always something.
Yeah, he began back when COVID was he had got that a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll more on this story. Obviously, I think today will be a very telling day for Lamar Jackson. They're home to the Broncos this week as well. The line is -8. So with the Broncos, the Ravens are 8-point favorites. So I assume that, you know, in terms of the sports books, they think Lamar is playing.
Yeah. Now the line has come down from 9.5 to 8. But if Lamar Jackson misses, it's going to move like a touchdown. It's not going to move 1.5 points.
Exactly. It's not going to be 1.5 points.
Yeah. So I think that the expectation is still that, at least with the sports books, the DraftKings, that he is going to play, but there is a little bit of uncertainty. And again, because it's Lamar, like if this was Josh Allen, who doesn't kind of deal with this kind of stuff, you'd expect that he's probably just going to play. But Lamar, because there's always this weirdness around him, perhaps there is a little bit more. He took some really big hits in that Cleveland game because he was having to run a lot, particularly in the second half. So I just wonder, even though he finished out the game and he looked pretty spry those last couple of plays, wonder if perhaps there was some niggling injury. But I'd make it favorite that he is going to play based on what the market is
probably
saying.
has some adrenaline going on. But if you look at how the game went, you're like, 289 yards passing.
It looked like Lamar Jackson.
I wouldn't, especially as fantasy managers, Friday is the day, right? That's when. Now, if he comes up and it's like he's questionable, then it's like, uh-oh.
Yep. Okay, well, another guy who may be questionable is Jordan Love, dealing with the groin injury. And let's hear from Matt LaFleur, who spoke about Love's status yesterday.
To me, what factors is, can you protect yourself or not? And, you know, can you function at a high level, a winning level? And so we'll see where he's at. You got to be able to get out of harm's way if it comes your way. And you got to be able to function and do the things that we need you to do, and that he feels comfortable doing. And if he can't, then he won't play.
That's my concern. I mean, so positive, and you said the line has moved towards the Packers, so there's some optimism that he'll be able to play in what is a huge game at home against the Lions. You know, a big game for the NFC North and for playoff seeding. My concern, fantasy-wise, is that even if Love starts, if he gets banged up, like they have a lot of confidence in Malik Willis, which is, you know, awesome for the Packers and Matt LaFleur, and kudos to them, because I think a lot of people saw that trade in the preseason going, Malik Willis, really? Like, you know.
You think he'd be starting for the Titans right now?
Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. Like, but it was surprising just because Malik Willis hadn't really shown a lot with Tennessee, and it was a kind of a head scratcher there, and they had drafted Sean Clifford, and anyway, it's a weird one, right. But you're like, okay, and then he comes in, you're like, where was that Malik Willis? Like, that wasn't the,
He was on the Titans.
Yeah, is that what it was? I mean, honestly, like, but anyway, so credit to Malik Willis, who I think has been much better than a lot of people expected. Credit to the Packers staff for coaching him up and getting Willis there. So I think they have a lot of confidence in Willis. Fantasy-wise, though, I don't know how much confidence I have in Jordan Love completing this game, even if he gets the start. I will just tell you that I'm in a number of guillotine leagues, as you can imagine, which obviously, if you have one bad game, you're out.
Yeah.
I lost in a guillotine league last week because I'm down to the final 6, and I had Jordan Love as my quarterback. He got 5 points. He left early. So the other leagues where I have Jordan Love, I've just taken him out, regardless of whether he starts or not.
Yep, I think that's reasonable. And look, the line has moved 2 points towards the Packers, but still the Packers are 2.5-point dogs at home against Detroit. If Jordan Love plays, suspect that's going to be more like pick. So the market is saying this is a coin flip at the moment. But like, let's just go through it. If Jordan Love plays, I think regardless, you're starting Josh Jacobs, whoever the quarterback is.
Yeah.
If Love is in, I think you're starting Jaden Reed, and then all the other receivers are a bit more questionable.
Yeah,
Tucker Kraft, you're starting.
I would start Dobbs.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably get away with Dobbs. Like Dobbs would be the best of the rest.
Yes.
I prefer Dobbs to Watson or Wicks, but I will say that if Malik Willis is starting, I don't feel great about any of the pass catchers.
No, I think Jaden Reed would be the one guy maybe, but that's about it.
You ain't gonna feel great about any of them. You feel better about putting Malik Willis in the fantasy lineup than you do about the actual Packers receivers, because he could also run the ball.
Lions give it the most receptions per game to the slot, so that obviously favors Jaden Reed. They also allow the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, so that obviously favors Jaden Reed. Having said that, again, like we've seen this where, Dobbs goes off and whatever. Like a buddy of mine texted me last night and he said, I have to choose between Tank Dell or Jaden Reed. Who should I start? And I said, because we don't know who the quarterback of the Packers is going to be, I feel better about Tank Dell. I would start him, and obviously that ended up working out last night. So I'm glad that came through. But like that was that's kind of the decision you have to make.
I would say too with Jordan Love, if you do have him, you got to pay attention to the little things, like see if he fully practices today. If he's a game time decision, you're probably you're not find another option if he's a game time decision. So those are big things to look for as well.
Yeah, just registered with me that Lawrence is wearing a Dodgers hat. I didn't notice that. Lawrence Jackson, lifelong LA Dodgers fan.
Oh, we champs. We champs.
I feel like, listen.
We the champs, baby. Yeah. Dodger up.
Dodger up.
I'm okay with Dodger up, but I mean, you understand that jumping on a bandwagon.
It's baseball. It's cool.
No, but that's Jay's bit.
Yes.
Like, hey, it's just like, stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
No. If it's baseball, I could just do whatever. I never do it in football.
It's not a sport.
Because I don't know what happened in the World Series, but I know who won. We right here,
Lawrence
baby.
actually asked me before the show, true story, sorry, my wife children, when did the World Series end? It was 2 nights ago.
I knew it was recently.
It was recently.
Shohei Ohtani, baby.
Yeah, he didn't do much in the World Series.
He did?
More the Freddie Freeman show.
Lawrence, I think you still have some of the plastic and the tag on the hat that you just bought literally on the way into the studio.
I have I actually have 2 hats that are just like this.
Let's talk about Los Angeles team that you do know about.
Can you name a Dodger besides Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah. Hold on. Mookie Betts.
There you go.
Matt Kemp. Yeah,
that's the old one. That's the old one.
Yeah. Yeah, Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, Sandy Koufax.
Yeah.
Machado.
Yeah,
he ain't on the team.
He's on the Padres now.
Yeah.
He was there last year, though.
Hideo Nomo.
A few years ago. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the more relevant LA team for our purposes. The Rams. Head coach Sean McVay told reporters that Puka Nacua, he left Thursday's practice with a knee injury. Yeah. It's the same knee that kept him out. Now, NFL Network reporting that it is not considered serious. Actually, is it serious that it's not going to be 6 to 8 weeks? Is it serious that he's going to miss? He's going to be okay this week?
He left practice early.
Yeah.
A guy who's been injured throughout his career. Yeah. That's serious.
So it's difficult to talk about this without knowing the extent of the injury. I think the only sure thing is that Cooper Kupp is going to see an uptick in snaps, uptick in usage, even if Nacua is unable to go. I think that Nacua is kind of at the level now where, if he is active, you just have to start him, particularly given that he only played half the snaps against the Vikings and was still a monster.
Challenge, though, and it's a great matchup with Seattle, right? I mean, Seahawks are a bottom 10 pass defense over the last 4 weeks. 48 over/under, so we expect a lot of scoring to happen in this game. The problem is it's a 4 o'clock game. So you just make sure you have a pivot if you're going to roll out with Nacua, and hopefully we'll get more reporting between now and Sunday morning. We'll obviously talk about it on Fantasy Football pregame. But if we don't, just make sure you have an afternoon or Sunday night or Monday night pivot in case Nacua can't go. I will say this, guys, I don't think there's anyone in the Rams that I feel great about beyond Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like you can say, like, oh, well, just go grab DeMarcus Robinson because if Nakua can't go, Robinson will go off. Like, it
ain't like that.
Right, they sort of spread it around, and you see Colby Parkinson and, like, Kyron Williams will get stuff out of the backfield, and every once in a while.
DeMarcus Robinson needs Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp to be playing to reach his fantasy value.
So don't, and by the way, Matthew Stafford, who we talked about earlier in the week as kind of a potential streamer, if Nakua can't go, you feel less good about Stafford, for sure.
Indeed.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.